Hello everyone, I'm Terran Zulu, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through one of the foundational head simplification methods by Loomis. What makes this approach so valuable is its clarity and versatility. You can apply it to a myriad of different portrait drawing scenarios, and it helps you with everything from construction, proportions, and ultimately, even perspective. Personally, I relied on this method as the basis for developing a lot of my own portraits, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can do that too. So without further ado, let's get drawing. We'll begin with the classic Loomis head structure, which always starts with the sphere. The sphere is a good choice because it most closely resembles the cranium. When sketching it out, make sure to check the height and width to keep the proportions balanced. At this point, the drawing is still flat, so Loomis suggests we introduce a sense of volume using contour lines. The first step is to draw a vertical center line that wraps around the sphere, giving us orientation and indicating symmetry. For example, if that line arcs to the right, we know the head is turning in that direction. Next, we add a horizontal axis to represent the brow ridge. You can draw an ellipse across the sphere to not only define the eye level, but also help anchor the perspective of the head. Next major step is to slice off the sides of the sphere. Imagine shaving down each side to create flattened planes where the temples would be. We do this because it mirrors the natural structure of the skull. It's important to maintain symmetry, so whatever you do on one side, make sure you repeat it on the other. At this stage, you already see the beginnings of a structured three-dimensional head. From here, we extend the vertical center line downward to establish the chin. Loomis recommends dividing the face into proportional thirds, from the hairline to the brow ridge, from the brow ridge to the base of the nose, and from the nose to the chin. These proportions, of course, will vary depending on the orientation of the head. In certain angles, there will be greater degrees of foreshortening, and as such, consider this a rule of thumb and not an immutable principle. Speaking of the ear, its position can be mapped by following the line of the jaw backward from the brow ridge. It typically falls within that region, though not always, tilting slightly along the head's axis, typically. At this point, you can always begin to define the side plane of the jaw and sketch in the lower half of the face. To add more realism, you can block in the cheekbones and even suggest the nose. The nose can be projected outwards by extending a plane from the center line at the bottom of the brow ridge, right around the glabella, creating the bridge and the downward facing plane of the septum. These extra touches give the structure more lifelike accuracy while staying true to the Loomis framework. Now, keep in mind that the Loomis head is a generic starting point. Every individual's proportions, things like nose length, chin depth, facial thirds, will vary. With that said, once you have the structure in place, you can adjust these features to match your model or reference, especially when dealing with foreshortening or different head tilts. So, to recap, first you want to start by drawing a sphere. From there, draw vertical and horizontal center lines to establish your orientation. After that, we want to slice off the sides of the cranium to create temple planes. Before moving to step 4, where we extend these curvilinear lines from the brow ridge and bottom of the chin to establish the front and side planes of the head. Next, if you haven't already, divide the face into proportional thirds, beginning from the hairline to the brow ridge, down to the bottom of the nose, finally the chin. At this juncture, we already have a basic Loomis head. I take it a bit further by adding a projection for the nose, the placement of the ear in relation to the other features, as well as the keystone shape of the glabella. In a nutshell, that's the foundation of the Loomis head. In order to perfect it, of course, you're going to have to practice it in different angles, different perspectives, and try to apply the same principles equally as effectively. This video is just an introduction to the method intended to give you a framework that you can then build upon. If you'd like to watch the full video and go deeper into my portrait drawing process, check out my Patreon and the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.